It is my goal to understand the world. I want to find others that will take this journey with me. I wish to teach those who would learn the ways of philosophy. If you, like me, have noticed that we live in a clown world, then perhaps you are who I'm looking for. I want to understand why men and women that question if the gender that is conscripted to go to war, denied any rights to reproduction, and dies sooner, is really all that privileged. Why are these men and women accused of hate speech? I want to understand why corporations and countries can compel their own employees and citizens to speak truths they don't believe, lest they are fired or arrested, respectively. If you are with me, then let's learn our first lesson. Political statements contain no truth other than to portray the speaker's true motives. Philosophical propositions contain no preferences for human behavior. They are attempts at gaining knowledge of reality, existence, or indeed knowledge itself. So let us have a metaphor then. A man walks into a doctor's clinic and approaches reception. The receptionist says, "Hi, my name is Doris. How are you today?" To which he answers, "I'm super, Doris. Thanks for asking." This man has lied twice. He sits down next to an older gentleman who says, "There is a terribly long wait. I've been here 20 minutes already." Our man replies, "Oh, it doesn't bother me. It can't be helped. I'm sure they're trying their best anyway." He has now lied 3 more times, bringing the total up to 5. After 20 minutes, the doctor, who has just finished watching wrecked feminist videos on YouTube for about 15 minutes, calls our man in. The doctor asks, "How's things?" And our man replies, "Oh, fine, fine." He has lied yet again. Finally, the doctor asks, "What seems to be the trouble today?" "Well, doctor, I've been coughing for a month, and this morning there was blood in my tissue. I've had a headache for 5 days and been off my food for about 3. Now I've just noticed this big lump on my neck. Here." The doctor, now quite concerned, takes a look and then pages the receptionist. "Clear the rest of my day, please, Doris." Our man looks on and says, "Oh, I'm sure it's just a cold." This is lie number 7. I'm being a little unfair on our man here. In truth, he did not exactly lie 7 times. In fact, he was engaging in politics 7 times. It is true that no one is super, and no one is ever really thankful you have asked. But he told this to Doris by way of small talk, and reassuring her that the reception process was proceeding correctly and it was business as usual. He controlled the situation and got out of reception as soon as possible. This was a good use of the little power he did have, the power to disengage politely from conversation, to get the outcome he wanted, that was, to sit down. To the older gentleman, he practiced the politics of not getting involved in a campaign of condemnation against the very doctor he was waiting to see. It involved 3 lies, but the conversation was over soon enough, and he had sided with the party whose help he so sorely needed, without irritating the old man he was sitting next to. In the initial statement to the doctor of, "I'm fine," he ceased small talk as quickly as possible so as to get to the main event. Again, he played it well, and the doctor may have even picked up on this. It is here that our man ceases with politics and commences philosophy. "I've been coughing for a month, and this morning there was blood in my tissue. I've had a headache for 5 days and been off my food for 3. And now I've just noticed this lump on my neck." Now, this is a completely true statement. It is accurate. Philosophy is the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence. By accurately describing his discomfort, he is giving the doctor knowledge of the medically relevant nature of his physical reality. But then, of course, the statement, "I'm sure it's just a cold," is straight back to politics. Political power is the ability to influence the behavior of others. When our man, who has chosen to visit the doctor, says to a medical professional who has just cleared his calendar, "I'm sure it's just a cold," what he really means is, "I'm in a state of denial and rather scared about the whole thing. Please be direct but gentle." A statement is one from the school of philosophy when it seeks to know the fundamental nature of reality, existence, and or even knowledge itself. The first step in learning philosophy is to understand which human endeavors are genuinely attempts at exactly this, and which are merely lies and deceit, never intending to know or to accurately and rigorously explain, but rather to change the behavior of you, the listener. These lies will present as philosophy, because they'd be believable and powerful if they were philosophy, but really they are just politics. The first duty of the philosopher is to determine which propositions are politics and which are philosophy. Now let's look at some examples. The genders are equal. There is no way known that this can be a genuine statement about the humans that can have babies and the ones that can never. For that exact distinction, it is politics. Simple. Let's take a slightly harder one. Immigration is bad. Again, I think this is politics. It is not quite as simple, but clearly some quantum of immigration is not bad. And anyway, the whole world has been immigrating to and from everywhere ever since Australopithecus first climbed down from the trees. How does one avoid immigration? Everyone must not leave the town they were born in, or the street, or the house they were born in. Would it be bad for a town that had many doctors to send some to a town that had none? There may be some epistemic truth in a statement like immigration at X levels under Y circumstances and for Z reasons is bad, but this is not the statement that has been made. It is politics. Last one. God is dead. This is a partial quote from Nietzsche, cited in 2 of his works. Now, is it philosophy or politics? Look, I think it can be both. Given that we can never prove the existence of God, it is a stretch to say that he is dead, given that we never knew he was otherwise than dead. It raises the question of whether God can die. Dying is for mortals, after all. But that Nietzsche might be wrong does not mean that the statement is not philosophy. Bad philosophy, perhaps, but philosophy all the same. However, a political opponent of religion might use the quote as a political attack upon religion. It might be a way of convincing young minds that religion is a moot point, as from here on in we're surely on our own, regardless of whether we used to be on our own or not. And so the statement God is dead is both an attempt at a description in some people's minds and a prescription unto other people on how they should act in the world in other people's minds. It can be both. As you progress in your life of philosophical contemplation, you may notice that you feel baited by what appears an attempt at philosophy, but is in fact an attempt at politics. I saw a tweet recently that read, "Nothing makes people angrier than when you say meat is a health food." I confess I was irritated by such a foolish statement until I realized it was politics. Someone was just trying to invoke a reaction out of me. Politics, not philosophy. Once I understood this, I found my way to a tweet that read, "René Descartes walks into a bar. The barman says, 'Would you like a drink, sir?' 'I think not,' replies Descartes, and then he disappears." And I'll leave it there.